Rich Eisen, just so you know, that wasn't a pile driver that Tony Khan took on Wednesday night. It was a TK driver. All right.
Oh, get
Get it,
informed.
do your homework. All right.
This is so embarrassing.
Do your homework.
Damn.
Why is it called that?
Well, it used to be the Meltzer driver that the Bucks did.
Why was it called that?
Because, they love Dave Meltzer.
Five-star Meltzer,
5 stars bounce out. You see stars afterwards. I get that. I like that. That's pretty good.
Yeah. So
you see how many stars you are based on what city you're in.
Yeah. If it's Tokyo, 7 stars.
Oh, wow. That sounds like a lot of stars. It's better than most of the hotels I stay in.
But the thing I loved about it, and we're going to talk a lot about what we saw with Tony Khan and what happened on Wednesday and how it bled into the NFL draft last night, because Tony Khan was wearing the neck brace in the Jaguars war room last night, which, Nick, I loved it because I was wondering how it was going to be, because the last couple of years, Tony Khan was in that war room with his dad for the Jaguars, as he should be, because I think he's in charge of the analytics when it comes to the Jacksonville Jaguars. So I was wondering if he was going to go that far, and he did. He wore the neck brace. He sold it like a champ, and I love those things because what did it do? It had Rich Eisen talking about AEW, so, people that are watching the NFL draft that maybe are wrestling fans or not wrestling fans or were at one time wrestling fans, they're hearing those 3 letters AEW. That's nothing but a positive for that company.
Huge. As a fan of when things are gimmicky or bad or slap you in the face, we shovel it into your mouth, I'm very disgusted with it most of the time when you see that randomly happen. This happening makes me smile so much that there is part of our business, one, being talked about. That is fantastic. Any publicity is almost always good publicity, especially for AEW, but I live for it. I love it. I love when this happens. A friend of mine had to wear a neck brace in New York for 6 or 8 months for a while, and he still got in trouble for it because he wasn't doing it right. But it didn't matter. Like, when you live for it and you live to go, this is my job, and I take it home with me, and I take it very seriously, I will protect it. I love that part. Now I'm wondering, is Vince going to try and buy back the football from Rocky so he can wear 2 neck braces and sunglasses, maybe roll in a wheelchair, and then have for their draft? I don't know. He's going to have to try and outdo it at some point. Maybe grow 2 mustaches. I don't know, but it's got to be something different to have that stand out. I love that this is happening. It's like Andy Kaufman wrestling women on TV. Like, let's bring it back. Let's make it real. Put them on the Tonight Show.
I think for me, it's like we have received a lot of criticism that we're not doing a great job on cross promoting AEW. This is a perfect example on how to cross promote in different companies professional wrestling, especially knowing that Tony Khan is extremely involved in soccer and in football now, and having him wear that neck, and the important thing, Dave, is like they're gonna be like, okay, so what happened? They're gonna research AEW. They're gonna go and see the video, so they're gonna get more hits on the video, and from that they can probably get more fans that are NFL fans to watch AEW. I think that's the very important part on how this is working, because for me, it was really funny. I was not expecting it. I was there when this happened, and I was in shock. I was in the doctor's room when he was brought into the doctor's room. Tony Khan collapsed in the doctor's office after what just happened with the Elite. And also another thing that with the Elite, like, people were hating them a lot, but I think that's now a real reason what to hate them. Like, the storyline makes sense. And I think a lot of the stuff that it was questionable was like after that video, we're like, where this is gonna go. Well, now I know where it's gonna go. Like, they're against the boss, and I'm just like, as a inside heel that I always been, I'm like, oh, I might be able to hit my boss and I get fired. Hell yeah, you know what I'm saying? That's all I have to say.
Real heel wouldn't care if they got fired or not for beating up their boss. No big deal. Take a swing, damn it.
Don't tell me.
I loved it because on the show on Wednesday, I did the show Wednesday with both Bully and Tommy, and Bully and I talked about how Jack Perry could be the biggest baby face in AEW because how the crowd was going to react because Punk is gone, but Perry's back, and the AEW fans are going to rally around Jack Perry. Tommy said that he looked at it the other way, how he could be the biggest heel. And Nick, it's pretty interesting. Jack Perry comes out, and it was just like I thought. The fans were on their feet cheering Jack Perry, but then within 5 minutes, everybody in Jacksonville that was on their feet cheering Jack Perry was then booing Jack Perry. That's the art of pro wrestling, right? Was where you can control people's emotions and feelings the way Jack Perry did this past Wednesday on Dynamite.
That is the true proven marksmanship of the business, because I also was on that Windy City Riot show in Chicago with him, to where I was curious. I'm like, oh, this kid's coming back. Let's see how it's going to go. And booing him out of the building and the craziest reactions, and then almost a Cena-esque, we're booing you, but we know that you're here and we like the story, and then having that all happen. And it's one thing to be able to have someone just have an opinion of you, but when you can get emotions, whether it's cheering or booing, when you are getting a reaction, a genuine reaction, or like, oh, where's he going with this? It doesn't matter. As long as the sound is there, you are doing your job as a professional wrestler. And right now, last week, I'll be fair here. I said, let's see where they're going. That's all I kept saying. I go, guys, let's focus on the positive. Let's see where they're going. Maybe they can make a run with this. And I think the numbers over the next 2 to 3 weeks let you know if it worked or not. But to us to be talking about it, where you're saying, hey, I was wrong, or I missed a piece, then let's see where they're going. It's very interesting to see where they're going right now. And now everyone's talking about it. Just like last week, everyone was talking about the footage or what's going to happen. And then coming out of the pay-per-view, everyone's talking about how awesome that pay-per-view is. Then we're talking about Tony Khan at the draft. And now we're going, where is this story going? If you have everyone talking, especially when 2/3 of all internet stuff is dogging you because you only like one wrestling company and you can't like another one for some friggin' reason. When that happens, that just makes everyone want to go, I want to talk about this. I want to see where they're going. I wish I had something to say where I'd be like, hey, listen, I told them they were doing a bad job and now they're doing a good job, so I take it back. I said, let's see where they're going. I appreciate it. I think Vince 40 years ago would be doing all these different things and probably getting punched in the stomach and wheeled into the XFL draft or something, exactly the same way. I love it. I hope they're going somewhere extra special with it. It doesn't matter if babyface or heel. Let the crowd decide, let them feel it out, and then let everybody take over this story and be talking about it every single Wednesday, Friday, Saturday.
That's the goal, right? I mean, you want people talking, and like you said, in a positive way. I don't think there's many people that could have watched the ending of that show and shit on it. Like, I think watching that ending and then seeing, him at the NFL draft wearing the neck brace, people are talking about AEW. That's going to be a positive thing. And going back to what you said, Thunder, earlier in the show, and Nick knows this because I did it with Nick. Nick did have the opinion like, wait, let's see what happens. Slow your roll a little bit, LaGreca. You're a little bit over the top. You're like, I've been in this business. I know it. Like, let's see how this plays out. And I was like, fuck you, Nick. This was shit. That video, how can you play that video? Blah, blah, blah. And then I said it on the air yesterday with Tommy Thunder. I said, I got to eat some crow. Yep. Because now, if you didn't show that video a couple of weeks ago with Punk and Jack Perry, you wouldn't have had that reception that he got, as Nick said, at the Windy City in Chicago. You wouldn't have had what you had this past Wednesday on Dynamite, Thunder. Like I said, I went on the air yesterday. I said, I got to eat a little crow. I was wrong. We put the video out on social media because Paul, our producer, loves to embarrass me. We put the video out on social media and I retweeted, said, I was wrong. And I even said, but that's, I love being wrong. That's the thing about it is like, I want to have that moment where you want to call me, hey, you stupid Mark, or how do you not see that coming? No, I love being got. That's the art form of pro wrestling where we're like, where is this going? Oh shit, I didn't see that coming. And Thunder, I got to say, I didn't see it coming. And I loved what I saw on Wednesday night.
Honestly, a lot of people didn't see it coming, David. I didn't see it coming. Honestly, I was just because it was so controversial. Period. Like, and I know controversy draws attention, either good or bad. People been talking about this situation. I'm not talking about for weeks. I'm talking about for months. So And regardless of the numbers, like people still like now talking about what just happened. And another thing that I would like to mention, guys, this has been done before. And stop with the like, oh, he didn't sell it right. Why is he? He has a neck brace. He had to show up to work. His father, who never shows up on the show, on the ring, and he was super worried because he was like, damn, we have an NFL draft and you're just on the floor half dead. What am I going to do? How are we going to deal with this? It's like,
see, that's what it was, Thunder.
Yes.
Thunder, I got to jump in here for a second. Shah Khan, like, I don't think he was like, oh my God, my son. I think he was like, oh my God, we got the draft tomorrow. My analytic guy, who the fuck is going to do his job? Who's going to cover for him? And then he was probably in the hospital saying, I don't give a shit that you got your neck broken. Put on a neck brace. Get your ass in that war room because we got a draft to do.
Yeah,
so I think that's how it went down.
Guys, this is storytelling. Enjoy the damn storytelling. Yeah, it was a controversial thing. People were moved. People were fucking upset about what happened. But now, you know, it's pro wrestling is happening. And that's the good thing. Another point that I want to make. There's no storylines at AEW. There are storylines at AEW. They're happening as we speak. So the problem is you must watch to see what's happening at AEW. So I invite you to tune in on Wednesday, Fridays, and Saturdays and watch the damn show so you can see that there are storylines happening.
I agree with you because, Nick, it's all about stories. And I have been very critical of AEW not having stories. I have been very critical of AEW not having heels and baby faces where it's like everyone's getting cheered. Well, if everyone's getting cheered, then you have no emotional investment with a personality or character. And Nick, to Thunder's point, coming out of Dynasty and coming out of Dynamite from Wednesday, there's 4 or 5 different stories coming out of those two shows that I'm emotionally invested in now. And Nick, at the end of the day, it is all about story. You need the story to lead up to the big match. Like, Rocky just doesn't fight Apollo at the beginning of the movie. You got to have a story that leads up to the fight at the end of the movie. And I think AEW is finally realizing that.
And yeah, I love it. We're still talking about him right now. The hot topic is AEW. I love that. I live for it. I hope some people who are like, this sucks, will at least acknowledge it. Like, hey, I'm checking this out, or hey, I'm giving it a shot, because, you know, it's so easy to say the negative part on, especially online, not so much, you know, the positive parts, but we're talking about them coming out of the pay-per-view, coming out of the TV. Everybody wants to see the stories. Now, hopefully the stories are long-term and it all works out, because there's 2 main wrestling fans, I think, that just want to see some great matches and just want to see some entertainment. And when you can blend those 2 together, you have a very special combination or formula that it gets everybody invested. You say, hey, these are 2 of the greatest of all time. What is the story? Oh, if someone's career's online, or this person says they're going to retire, or this might be their last time, any kind of stakes involved one way or another, it makes me go just a little bit bigger on every time you think it's the end of the match. Like, this is it. This is how it goes. And I love a good movie with a twist at the end that it brings you in the whole way through. You have the ups and downs. And then when you get to the finish, when you get to the ending, whether everybody cheers, boos, or their mouth is on the floor, you go, I've just created this masterpiece. And they want to come back the next day and see this new movie all over again.
Yeah, it makes sense to me. And I actually thought that Tony did a great job, because if Tony Khan got punched in the stomach by Jack Perry, he's going down like a ton of bricks. And that's exactly what happened. Like, you know, Tony Khan's not an athlete. He gets hit by a wrestler. He's going down hard. And that's what happened.
Even Vince, jacked Vince 20 years ago, taking a stunner, he would never take it a stunner like Scott Hall would. He would take it like billionaire Vince, who doesn't wrestle, crumbles to the ground or falls down, or however, tears a quad, however it happens, it goes down and happens.
Say that.
But any of those, I love that. Like Jim Cornette getting punched by a Road Warrior is not just going to go, and fall down. He's going to explode into a white suit that turns into a red suit, and we're going to pick up pieces of him off the ground and find him later. That's the beauty of the actual letting someone know this inside story of, this isn't a performer. This isn't one of the wrestlers. That's why it's different. That's why it's big. That's why we want to see what the hell happens next week.
And you know what? Like, you're right. You make a great point. The worst stunner of all time was Vince taking that stunner from Stone Cold Steve Austin.
It just makes sense.
He pulled his quads, right? Like both of his squad when he took that thing.
No, that's
No,
I mean, it's a funny story to say that, but that's he ran down to, I believe there was a Royal Rumble finish with
yes, and he
Batista,
jumped
Cena.
off and But you know what? It looked like he tore more than just his quads.
They
when
would
he
have at
took
least
that
had an
stunner.
excuse for the stunner. Yeah.
877-344-4893, 877-FIGHT-93. Want to get the take from the nation as well. It is a Falls Count Anywhere Friday. What did you think of what you saw on Wednesday? What do you think of Tony Khan, what happened at the end of Dynamite, and then him with the neck brace during the NFL draft? How about NFL.com yesterday morning reporting the fact that Jaguars executive Tony Khan suffered neck injuries on Dynamite? Like NFL.com was reporting that on Thursday morning, Thunder.
David, there was 8 different major outlets, entertainment outlets, that reported that Tony Khan almost died in the ring and he was at the NFL draft yesterday. So I'm not talking about just the NFL. I'm talking about 8 other ones that are major entertainment reports.
And talk about having the guts of a performer, by the way, taking those injuries and, just not just being there like Charlie's Angels over voicemail. He was there in person. That's a real trooper. Sold it to death, exploded to the ground, has a neck brace, but still goes to work. I appreciate that.